Welcome to the Kenny Pickett Show on Panther-Lair.com, presented by WellHive. He's Kenny Pickett. I'm Chris Peak from Panther-Lair.com. And Kenny, we're sitting here after another win. You guys beat Clemson on Saturday. But I mean, the question everybody's on everyone's mind: did you have the cold one after the game on Saturday night? Did you make good on your promise on national TV to go have a cold one?
Definitely did. It was the first thing I ordered when I got to dinner with my family and friends. So I enjoyed it.
What's it? I mean, like, I always wonder about this. I mean, in my mind, so I remember back in 2016 when Pitt beat Penn State, I was like, man, Ryan Lewis, he had the game-winning interception. I'm like, that dude is going out in Oakland tonight. He's not paying for a single drink. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be like he is king of the town. I mean, what do you do after a game? I mean, you just go have a quiet dinner and go to bed? I mean, what does post-game look like for you? For as much as you can tell us, as much as you can tell us.
We won't get into too many details. We have fun. I mean, we all get together at our house and we figure out where we want to go after. But really, it's all just hanging with teammates and friends. And I have family and friends that drove out, so it was great getting to see a lot of people that I haven't seen since July, maybe. So it's awesome. Being able to celebrate these kind of moments with them as well.
Right. You, I was wondering, think about a few plays from that game. I wanted to ask you, are you a movie guy? Have you ever seen The Fast and the Furious?
I have. I haven't seen all of them. There's like 9 of them. I know that, but
just the first one. That's the only one that's relevant for this. But there's a line in there where Vin Diesel says to Paul Walker, "Don't lose that cool of yours. That's your meal ticket. You're a very cool guy. You keep your very calm and collected on the sidelines and on the field. Celebrate with your teammates, but you keep it pretty level, except for that quarterback draw on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, whatever it was. You kind of let it through a little bit there. So a little bit of a fist pump. I mean, and then you got it back under control. But how big was that play? I mean, for you, I mean, you got to dive, you got to weave your way through like 8 guys. It seemed like a little bit of emotion come through at the end of that one. Was that? I don't know. Was it just feeling like you guys had finally clinched the game? I mean, what's going through your head at the end of that play?
Yeah, I felt like if we got that first down, that we pretty much kind of wrapped it up. That we got the win. And then I was like you said, I had to reel it back in and go finish the game. But after that one, it was kind of like, okay, I felt like we were in a good place. The clock was winding down. They were burning timeouts. We just had to go finish probably one more first down.
Now, I mean, you guys, that was the second 3rd down that you converted with your legs. I want to ask you about both. So we'll start with that quarterback draw, though, because I'm curious. I mean, you guys line up, you call a timeout, you go to the sidelines. Who's the first one that says, let's run this quarterback run? Is that Coach Whipple, or are you saying that to him? I think you kind of said after the game, you told him you wanted the ball in your hands. But I mean, who's the first person who suggests, hey, on this 3rd and 6, we're going to just quarterback run here?
Yeah, he had 2 plays. And they were both my plays, and that was one that we haven't shown. And someone else brought up another play or something. I was like, no. I was like, keep this one in my hands. They haven't seen it. I like the empty looks that we were getting. I felt like I could set the blocks up and knife, cut back or take it front side for 5 yards. I was gonna do everything I could to get those 5 yards. So I felt pretty good with the play call.
You guys, you talk about the empty sets, and I feel like you went empty a lot in that game. They were getting pressure on you early in the game. Going empty, is that a sign of just sort of trusting the O-line to hold up? Does that help sort of take some of the pressure off because you spread them out a little bit more? I mean, was that specific to this game to go a little bit more empty maybe than you have in other weeks?
I wouldn't say there was an emphasis on the empty. I think we started clicking, and we were seeing things, and I was reading it pretty easy. They weren't bringing too much pressure. They did bring pressure. I was able to get the ball out fast. So I think it was just something that, Coach Whip saw, and we obviously were taking advantage of certain things that they were doing. They tried to do some certain things to stop it. But it's, dropping tackles out to try and stop the slant over the middle or something, but when you're dropping D linemen out, they don't have great awareness for routes and concepts and being able to cover guys. They're kind of literally just dropping to a spot. As long as your guys aren't in that spot, you should be able to put a ball between 2 D tackles that are dropping out of there. They don't have great ball skills. So, all the adjustments they were trying to make really didn't stop it. So, we felt pretty good with it.
And then the other third down run in that final drive, a 3rd and 5. This time you drop back looking to pass, you end up scrambling. And one of the things that stood out to me, and I kind of mentioned it too before we started taping, is watching that clip. Their linebacker 47, Skalski, their best linebacker, he's pretty much watching you that whole time. He might be keeping an eye on Vincent Davis, but he's making sure you don't do what you end up, pretty much the exact thing you ended up doing. When you make the decision to scramble, he's there, right? Like you see that he's the guy you've got to get around. I mean, ultimately another guy came in and got pretty close to you, but can you take us through sort of your thinking on that drive, as you drop back, kind of, how you go through it and then decide, all right, I'm going to run for it.
Well, really, I got through, my progression, and they actually doubled. We had a 3-man route. We had pretty much actually, we had 7 guys stay in. So they ended up doubling each guy. They did a really good job of, perfect defensive call. The only thing that really could have beat it was the scramble. Vince ended up staying in. Gavin ended up staying in. I really wanted to get Gavin on the check down, but he ended up getting held up on his chip. He was really protection first, which in that kind of situation, that's what you want. But like you said, he was in the box. He was over the ball, and me going through my progression, I think froze him a little bit. And then I feel like if I get, a step or two on a linebacker, I should be able to beat him for, the first down, and the safety almost ended up making the play. But, I think we had a good spot. I think I had about like a yard.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you dove there as you're running up the sideline there. Are you looking at defenders to see who's getting close to you, or your eyes just on that stick the whole time?
No, you got to see, like I was prepared if that kid was going to beat me to the sticks to make a move and cut back or try and run him over, whatever it was going to have to be. But the angle he had, I felt like, if I laid out, I should have been good with it, and, it worked out.
This is a game, early on, and it kind of a similar thing happened at Virginia Tech. I mean, you guys scored on the second drive there, but then kind of went cold for a little bit until the end of the second quarter at Virginia Tech. This game, I think your first 5 or 6 drives, it's like punt, fumble, punt. They're really kind of doing a good job of bottling you guys up. But was there just sort of a feeling all along of, it's all right, we're going to break through? Because obviously you eventually did, but is that sort of the feeling the sideline, like, no worries, we'll eventually figure this thing out?
Yeah, there was no panic, and they were, I think, their number 2 scoring defense going into that game, or whatever they were. They were a top defense. The number 1 team in the country didn't score a touchdown against them. So obviously, you're gonna have to try and figure out what works and what doesn't. And they played as, they gave us different looks they didn't show on film, which is, kind of the trend we're seeing now, with how teams are playing us. They had, 3 guys deep that were like 15 yards, playing like 3 cloud look, just kind of different things that they haven't consistently shown. And I think that's why we kind of got to the run game. The run game was working. And then once they add that guy to the box, the pass game opens up. So it's, it's kind of like a touch and feel type of thing when you're playing against a great defense like that. We had a great job going with, that kid made a good play on Lucas. They got the fumble. But once we started getting our feet under us, we were like, okay, we saw what they were doing. Ended up hitting, that 3rd down shot to Jordan, and then the 4th down one to Tayseer. So 2 big plays on money downs.
And then this week, Miami coming to Heinz Field. Obviously, you have the history there of your first start, but you guys have lost the last 3 against Miami. I know you didn't play last year. What do you see out of this year's Miami team? Coming off a pretty big win for them last week. I mean, what have you seen so far in your study of them?
Yeah, looking at the depth chart, it's a younger team. The previous years that I've played, they've usually had some, pretty good veteran guys, but it seems like they got some young guys now filling in, dealing with some injuries too now in the back end with the news that broke today. But still a really talented team that went out there and beat a ranked NC State team. So it's going to be another great test. The games just keep getting bigger, like we said. The more you win, the bigger they get. So it's definitely going to be another great game. Saturday at Heinz.
All right, let's get into a few of the questions from the people on Panther-Lair.com, because it's always interesting there. And of course, Bernie 1105, I think this was the first question posted when I asked for questions. It's about the post-game cold one. And I don't want to blow up any potential sponsorship deals, but I don't think you can get an NIL deal with alcohol while you're in college, but you are of legal age. So he wants to know what's your favorite post-game cold one.
Favorite post-game cold one. It's tough because weather plays into it. Everyone back home knows I'm a big Corona guy. The summers and the warm weather, I love a Corona. I went with Bud Light at dinner, so I guess we can go with that, Bud Light.
EJ Borghetti is a big Corona guy. I don't know if you know this. He's actually a big Corona Light guy. Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not aware. I'm not aware.
Yeah.
We got another thing in common.
I've been at dinners with him in like December, and that guy's ordering like Corona Light. So that's dedication to for that island lifestyle, I guess. All right, 121 Rum wants to know, is curious, what did Dabo Swinney say to you after the game when you got a chance to shake hands with him?
Yeah, all positive things. Great game, great player. Good luck the rest of the way. I said the same. They got a great team. They'll bounce back. I think these last 5 weeks are going to be crazy for both sides. I just hope we can go take care of our business.
All right. Sorrento's Ranch, good question here. You've mentioned a few times you had a list of goals that you wanted to accomplish when you came back for this season. You mentioned winning in Blacksburg. You got that done. Obviously beating Clemson is one. You got that done. What's next, or what else is on that list for you?
Last time I played Miami, we lost. I think it was homecoming. Did not play great offensively. We did not play great. So it's another game that I would love to get back and finish against Miami with a W.
So the next game that'll just work out. I'm trying to think. What do you guys say after Miami? You have what do you play at Duke? I don't know if you have any. I guess you could beat Duke, earlier than the final minute or two. That would be something to cross off with Duke.
I think everyone would enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah. Although it was exciting 2 years ago down there, right? So you at least you had that going for you. All right. Whitey Six has a question. Now that getting the national attention and things, are you hearing more sort of interest in endorsement deals and NIL deals, or is that something you kind of shut down once the season began? I know you're working with someone who helps kind of handle those things, so I guess probably filters some of that out. But have you been hearing that there's more interest in these kinds of deals as the season has progressed, and how have you been kind of handling that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my agent handles all of it, and also my dad. So those two are kind of doing it on their own on the side. They told me that there's things in the works. I haven't even talked to them about it. So I'm sure it'll be more towards the end of the season. In that December area where it kind of settles down before the bowl game. If anything comes up, that like I said, that's worthwhile. But really, no, I have not focused on it. I have my agent for that, and my dad helps out as well.
He's the question also included a question about sort of more requests for your time, and this is something I've wondered about as well. I mean, as this season's gone on, I mean, I remember I was sitting there on Saturday in the post game, and we're waiting for you to go up to the podium. I think Coach Narduzzi was still talking, and I saw you step out to take a phone call for another interview. It's like you were doing an interview before your regular interview. I mean, is your time getting squeezed a little bit? How are you handling this, and how are you just kind of doing with the attention that's naturally coming for you guys and for you?
Yeah, I think I can thank EJ for that. He comes to me with all the stuff at the beginning of the week, and we space it out, and we have a pretty good plan of it. I just take it in stride. I mean, it's like I said, I'm appreciative of it all. It's better than not having any of it, I guess. It means you're doing something right. I'm appreciative of it. I take it in stride. It doesn't affect my my preparation or my time, my schedule that way. That's for sure. If anything comes like that, we just end up not doing things or pushing it off to another week. So.
All right. Guess the priorities are what they are, right? So
absolutely.
JM Bridgen asks, when you're on the field and you have to tell the crowd to quiet down and all that kind of stuff when you're on offense, are you thinking, A, do these people know anything about football? B, how cool is it that the crowd is this hyped for us? Or C, I could go for some pork roll.
I'll go with none of those. I'll kind of maybe mix some in there, but I mean, I love the energy in the crowd. It's awesome. It's really not too much of the crowd that there was one time the band was playing though, and that one got me a little bit. I'm like, why is the band playing right now? This is not a time for the band to be playing. We're trying to get this play in. I'm screaming at the line of scrimmage because the band's playing. So that was the one thing, and I was like, we got to fix that one. But besides that, no, the fans listen. It's been great. That was my favorite atmosphere at Heinz Field by far. Hoping we can, finish these last 3 home games out with something like that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's never even close to that full for a game. I guess the 2018 Penn State game was probably
Yeah,
pretty
but
close
that
in
was like
terms
a
of numbers.
monsoon game.
Yeah.
That was a much better, day and environment for sure.
but after these years of playing at Virginia Tech, like you mentioned, I mean, it had to be nice to have that loud crowd, right? I mean, on your side, for once, right?
Yeah, no, it just gives you that extra bit of juice. You could tell the defense, especially, was feeding off it all game. They played lights out. That play by Voss and Damari Mathis, those guys are balling right now. So, yeah, absolutely. I think, the more fans we get to the game, the louder the environment, the tougher it is for teams to come in here and play.
All right, and then the final question, Pitt 1975 says, how hard was it to throw to a wide open Taysier Mack when he's sprinting alone towards pay dirt? Not everyone can make a throw like that that's caught in stride. And it's funny because that play happened and you talked about it after the game and you said that, that was one where you stepped up to the line of scrimmage. You pretty much knew that you had it, which is something we talked about last week. There was a question, what percentage of plays do you have? You said you kind of knew you had that one, but once you recognize that, how quick does your thought then turn to, all right, don't screw it up. You're going to have this play to make. Just don't like overthrow it or underthrow it or something like that.
Yeah. It's just a catchable pass. That's all I was thinking. I knew he was going to, yeah, I like you said, I knew it was going to be wide. I mean, it was a lot more wide open than I thought. You never expect to be that wide open. It was that wide open. He put a great move on the guy and we had a mismatch all the way. And once I saw the backside safety step down, it kind of verified it for me. And then I just kind of floated, I think the best thing is it was perfect, but I wasn't trying to be perfect. I kind of just floated it. He ended up running under it perfectly. But if he had to slow down, I'd be okay with that, making sure we get the touchdown.
Right. All right, Kenny. Well, congratulations on the win over Clemson. Checking another thing off the list. I got another one this week, I guess, with Miami. Good luck on Saturday, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks.